watching the Realty Debate on NDTV Prime with me, Manisha Natarajan. Welcome everyone. Today's topic touches every Indian citizen's life. How do you create clean cities in India? This subject has attracted huge attention in the past few months with the launch of the Clean India mission by the Prime Minister himself. And we believe the attention and the action on the subject needs to be kept alive and the discourse in the limelight. With me on the show today, Debarth Banerjee, founder Sampoorn Earth. Also in the Delhi studio, Rakesh Mehta, former MCD Commissioner. Ravi Agarwal, founder director Toxics Link. Sandeep Kumar, Chief Financial Officer, ILNFS Environmental Infrastructure Services. Rajesh Mittal, MD Green Planet Waste Management Services. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today. I think the basic one big question, of course, I've got a lot of facts which show you that sanitation, the dirt issues, the waste management, all of these combined put India totally low in terms of global ranking. In fact, it's almost a national shame. We've started a national mission to create cleaner India, but there's even no awareness about the very basic and fundamental issue of household waste. Mr. Mehta, I'm going to come to you. I'm living in Delhi, wet and dry waste. I know you try to implement just that very basic beginning. Separate the dry and wet waste of your homes. But today, that's completely collapsed. Nobody is doing it.
Yeah, I think the reason really is that we have not been able to decide whether we do source segregation or end-use treatment. And source segregation really means you have to understand the type of garbage that we have. We have got basically 5 types of garbage. You know, one is the recyclable, then the biodegradable, which you call green waste. Then you've got the construction and demolition waste, you know, cities being pulled down and built up again. Then you've got electronic waste, and then you've got industrial waste, some of which is hazardous in both cases. Now, the problem is that unless you are able to accept as a matter of policy that source segregation of garbage is the principle which we will follow, this whole problem, we cannot find a solution to the problem because end-use treatment has failed. That's the problem, and that's the problem that we are facing with the waste to energy plant, that all the material goes there, and then even though we've got automatic segregators, they don't work effectively. And all cities have had this problem initially, and they finally come to the conclusion that source segregation of garbage is important, for which you need communities, you need city managers, you need environment ministries. Unfortunately today, garbage suffers from a NIMBY factor. So if you go to the environment ministry, they say, well, it's an urban development problem, go to the urban development ministry. You go to the urban development ministry, they say, it's an environment problem, go to the environment ministry. So really there's no ownership by anybody. Nobody in society really is taking ownership of this.
Oh my God. So this is what's happening. Before I go to my other guests for a comment, let's look at some basic facts which reflect the absolute apathy we have as citizens and a nation towards the disposal of waste we generate every day in our lives. Now, urban India generates about 47 million tons of solid waste every year, or about 1.3 lakh tons every day. These figures are from Central Pollution Control Board. Now, waste disposal in India simply involves rounding up the waste from different parts of the city, as we've just heard from Mr. Mehta, and dumping everything in a landfill. So there is no separation happening at any point, either the source or at the time that we are dumping it in the landfills. 94% of the waste collected is dumped on land. The landfills, which in all metro cities have now reached the size of 100 feet mountains. These have exhausted their capacities long ago and are seriously polluting our air and groundwater. At least 40% of the waste going to landfills is easily compostable, as they say. You can make a compost out of it, but only 5% of it is happening today. The focus is on disposal, not at all on recycling. These wastes generate toxic gases that are inflammable. On the other hand, decomposition of waste produces a toxic liquid called leachate, which destroys groundwater. These are startling figures. Ravi Agarwal, just run us through what your views are. As the private sector has come out with solutions, your company has a solution. I'm just wondering, though, there is a Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and there are certain targets, there's a huge amount of money which is being put aside for it, but the task looks really too big, isn't it?
Yeah, and as you know, we work in the not-for-profit space trying to look at the whole issue and trying to see what solutions will work. Mr. Mehta is right that the problem has not been solved despite it being on the radar for the last 10 or 15 years and more. See, I think there are three things we need to do clearly. One is things we have to do attitudinal change. So people should not be throwing garbage out, they should be segregating. That deals with the idea of what motivations you have to really do at the prime end. The second is we do need centralized infrastructures, things like construction, Malba, large landfills or waste to energy plants of any technology. They need centralized investment and centralized working. The third thing we often forget, and that is the crux of the issue, is that we also need decentralized community involvement, and we need decentralized plants as well. So as you know, it's not only a question of cleanliness, it's also a question of urban poverty, of waste pickers, of a wide variety of people creating different amounts of waste, but having to suffer equally from the negative impacts of that. Now, all these things have been enunciated in policy, and currently the new municipal waste laws are under review, and these hopefully will move towards greater decentralization. That means communities should be able to decentralize. Finally, the private sector is very, very important. But the private sector, we always look in something called the PPP model, public-private partnership. I would like to say that you make it a 4P model, public, private, people partnership. Let the people be part of that partnership. Make them a stakeholder in the local community waste management. If a local community, and it's happened in many parts of the country, many cities, takes the waste, collects it with the help of rag pickers, and also then does local composting, local segregation, it reduces the load on the landfill tremendously. And also you don't need to install these very expensive technologies end of pipe, which often don't work to the extent you want them to work because of various reasons. So I think a little refocus and a little more democratization of how you look at the waste issue could be the way to go in the future.
All right, democratization of the issue and getting people to participate in that initiative, I think is a first step. So let's look at what's happening in Bombay. We actually captured one of the initiatives by Sampoorna Earth. I will go to Debarth Banerjee after that, but it can be done. Citizens can be involved, and I think that fourth P that Ravi just outlined of people getting added to public-private participation, how critical that is.
Mumbai, home to over 20 million people, is also a dumping ground of nearly 10,000 metric tons of waste daily. A scenario where waste management is essential. Which is why 3 social entrepreneurs started Sampoorna Earth, a company that works to decentralize waste management and provide solutions to corporates and housing societies. Here, after collection, the waste is segregated into dry waste and organic or wet waste. The organic waste is composted and turned into manure and distributed or sold as fertilizer.
When you go abroad, you see that the cardboard and everything is kept separately, plastic separately, glass separately. That would be the ideal scenario. Right now it is just, we are happy if the people do just wet and dry.
Dry waste like plastic and Tetra Pak cartons, on the other hand, is recycled and used to make plastic bags or even chairs and other furniture. The objective here is creating a zero waste situation.
To the people, say that your surroundings will be clean, it will be healthy, and you're creating something for the common good apart from yourself. That message to get across is the most difficult part.
What's more, waste from food and horticulture is treated using the Nisar Bruna technology from the Bhabha Atomic Research Center to produce biogas used for cooking at homes and even colleges like the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Their initiative may be relatively new in India, but the Sampoorna Earth team is now making its presence felt across Mumbai.
Debarth Banerjee, how did you get people to participate in that program is my first big question, because Delhi doesn't seem to be going anywhere on that front.
Absolutely, I completely agree to the point. And I also feel that waste management is not only an environmental problem only, it's also an economic problem. We are spending enormous amounts of money into it. and there are so many people, waste pickers, other informal sector workers also inside it. So the model that we are trying to develop is a decentralized model where the waste can be processed at source, and we can employ these waste pickers also inside the system to give better employment opportunities to them. Now, definitely, like, people don't segregate from day one. Like, the housing societies that we are doing waste management for, like, they don't segregate from day one. But with constant awareness and pushing, we have seen like the segregation levels to go up. And I think like people should also be incentivized, like with property tax rebates or something else, so that they can do more around waste management, get more incentive out of it. Here, what we have created as an incentive is the compost or the biogas coming out of the manure, of the waste itself. So that has been exciting. Many people have joined in. As there are good examples created, more people are joining inside the program.
Mr. Mehta, we just heard, do you agree that if at all the starting point can be you just incentivize the segregation of household waste, and that's probably what will get people to do it? I mean, right now it's not happening at all.
Well, the thing is that incentivizing is very difficult for a poor corporation, which is always really short of money. And I remember in 2002, I wanted to raise 40 lakhs of rupees to do this, biodegradable, plastic bags for segregation of green waste. I couldn't get that money. Today, I mean, how is it possible, the municipal corporation? So I think incentives, I would suggest awareness creation is much more important. However, I do agree that, since 40% of our waste is green waste, to expect all of it to be composted in highly dense urban areas may be very difficult, because in Delhi I know the DDA did not allow us permission to do composting in their gardens.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that should be done, no doubt. It is very important to involve the community, but I think ultimately promoting biodegradable plastic bags for bagging the green waste, and having cooperatives of a contract between the RWAs and cooperatives of rack pickers to pick all the other recyclable garbage, say once a month or once in 2 months, would be a good way of starting a starting point for doing the garbage segregation.
Okay, Rajesh Mittal, what are your views in terms of just getting households to be involved and incentivized to segregate waste?
We are doing at Jipare Complex, Motibagh, and we did 3 camps for awareness for segregation waste at source.
Okay.
Although we are doing in the best of the civilized society of this country, the people who are residing there are all our IAS officers. So we are also facing the same problem of segregation of waste at source. We offer them the plastic bags, biodegradable bags, to keep wet waste and dry waste separately, but we are fail miserably. So we have set up over there the one segregation plant.
So
yes, we have living in the highest civilized society. GPRA complex, all the resident are IAS officers, and we are sorry to say about it. We are very well failed to educate them to segregate your waste at source.
of course, we've also, captured that as one of the green examples, but now we are hearing the reality of it. If the civil servants in Delhi are unwilling to separate their dry and wet waste, good Lord, I don't even know whether we should just wrap out our discussion and say what would be the solution. What do you think, Mr. Sandeep Kumar? I mean, I know you come at the end of the chain of actually setting up a recycling plant, but just the fact that there is so much apathy, how do you change apathy amongst this country's people? And this is the educated lot.
Well, we really wish it could change, because we run these centralized composting plants and waste to energy plants and C&D plants, and we face the brunt of this lack of segregation at source. And the result is we have to invest so much machinery and so many people who have to work to actually then separate the mixed waste into the original components, so that we can actually process the individual components or recycle the individual components.
Okay.
So I think the providing encouragement, education is fine, but at some stage, I think given the cost of which the society is bearing for this lack of segregation, maybe some package of incentive and penalty.
Why not penalty?
Yeah.
Why not penalty?
Both,
I
both
think
taken together.
somewhere there has to be a penalty now. You let people go scot-free, they're going to not change their habits. I'm going to, look at what has happened on the policy front. Why has the policy failed? If you look at Supreme Court did institute the Berman Committee, which submitted its recommendations for solid waste management in Tier 1 cities of India. The report was submitted in March 1999. Just look at when it was 15 years ago, led to the formation of Municipal Solid Waste Management and Handling Rules in 2000. The rules apply to every municipal authority which would be responsible for the collecting, segregation, processing, transportation and disposal of solid waste. Some of the rules, what do they say? Littering of municipal solid waste is prohibited in cities, towns and in urban areas notified by the state governments. House-to-house collection of waste and segregation of biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, etc. shall be done. They've said all biodegradable waste shall be processed by composting. Recoverable resources shall be recycled. So there are rules. The bottom line is there are enough rules, but nobody is getting penalized. So the big question is, who do you start penalizing? Why don't we have a system like Singapore? Devrat, come in here. Why can't we have? I mean, there if you spit on the roads, it could lead you into serious trouble, isn't it? I know we are 1.2 billion people and jostling for space, but can we not start by at least waste segregation? And if you don't do it, you will be penalized?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the place I was coming from, like penalizing should definitely be there if people are not segregating their waste. But at the same time, like if somebody is composting their waste or turning into biogas, like there should be incentives to encourage people to do so. I know the municipal corporations have huge budgets and most of it is used in the collection and transportation. So if somebody is processing waste at source and they're reducing the volume of the waste, I'm sure like a part of the savings can be translated back as rebates and some taxes or something.
All right. Rajesh Mittal, how will you penalize IAS officers for not doing it?
We cannot penalize. Penalizing is not a solution. Solution is the awareness among the people resident, not throw your garbage in different bins. You can't penalize. We have a lot of laws. How many people are penalized for smoking in public? Nobody. How many people are penalized for spitting in public? Nobody.
All right.
Penalizing is not a solution.
Ravi Agrawal,
solution is awareness.
Okay, awareness. Do you think that then the campaign that the Prime Minister has started is the right way to go? Just make it a campaign beyond policy. Is that the right way to go?
Yeah, well, that's certainly one of the most critical elements because we all have to participate.
Can I ask a question of all the panelists?
Yes, please go ahead.
Do we segregate our waste at our source? Can we don't put our metal drinking can or plastic bottle in our kitchen bin? We are doing. We are habitual of doing it. Here, there, we are putting our garbage in different bins. First of all, we will have to install 3 bin system in our house. One for paper, one for metal and plastic, one for the kitchen waste. That will be start from our own houses.
All
Then
right.
we start creating awareness among the public. Yes, we can penalize RWAs.
Okay, all right. So you're saying penalize
centralization
RWAs and are we doing it? Well, unfortunately, we did try and do it, except that the MCD garbage collector just took all our garbage and put it in the same cart.
That's
So
the issue.
it's not. I'm sure at a household level there are still a lot of people. So there's a big chain. I think we need to discuss the chain, Ravi, before I take a break. At what level do you have penalties and where do you begin? I mean, who should be held responsible for it?
I think we have to go beyond thinking of financial penalties and incentives. There are many other incentives in society. We can't believe everybody's bad. Now, you segregate, as you just said, you segregate the garbage and then the municipality dumps it together. That means they haven't done their job. Now, in the whole municipal waste law, we have no law or no emphasis on recycling. We believe it will get recycled by the informal sector. We have small dirty industry which is recycling it. And we take that for granted. But there is no package of making that recycling sector really viable. So we just believe it will be recycled. It doesn't get recycled like that. So if you're going to take my waste and I spend 10 minutes segregating it and dump it together, what's my incentive to segregate? I think it is equally an infrastructural issue. Germany took a long time. Even in Germany today, there is not full segregation. Full segregation is an ideal. It will never be fully be achieved, cannot be fully, it's very, very complicated. But you have to do your back-end job. We can't put everything saying people are bad. The infrastructure issues have not been resolved in this country. We don't have a mechanism to formally recycle at any scale, even aluminium cans or plastic bottles. They're being done at very, very small scale, in small units, in very, very polluting ways. So we have to also see whether we have created the systems where this recycling takes place, and we have not done that.
Okay.
And in the law, it's one policy issue which has not been addressed. There is no policy on recycling. Look at packaging. You have packaging coming in which cannot be recycled. What do you do with such packaging? Who's going to? It'll go to the landfill.
Oh, we couldn't even ban plastic in Delhi. It was banned, and then under political pressure, that move was taken back. All right, so we're going to hit a break, but just taking on or adding on to Ravi Agarwal's point, India needs a landfill the size of West Bengal to dump 21,630 million tons of construction and demolition waste it will generate from the repair and demolition of old buildings and from new ones between 2005 and 2030 CSE. That's another added weight that this country will have to face. We're going to come back and find out how much can the government do, what can the private players do, and what can we do to actually incentivize private players to set up recycling plants. That's a big question which has been raised by the panel here. We come back and talk about it.